Changing Pastures, Part 2. 4 He knows the way that I take, when he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23 verse 10. In Part 1 of this devotional, we looked at the mystery behind Paul's powerful statement in Romans 5 verse 3, we glory in tribulations also. We began to understand that the pressures, inconveniences, and painful delays in life are not signs of God's abandonment but indications of his leading. The Great Shepherd changes our pastures not to break us, but to prepare, lift, and enrich us. Today, in Part 2, we continue that journey. We follow the shepherd a little further up the mountain. We look a little deeper at the meaning of being led into new terrain that may feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or even frightening, yet it carries divine purpose. 1. When God interrupts your comfort. One of the most frustrating seasons in a believer's life is when God interrupts what seems to be a perfectly fine season. You were comfortable. Then suddenly the job shifts, the relationship changes, your plans collapse, or the path ahead becomes foggy. Why does God do this? Because staying where you are would eventually starve your spirit, just like sheep grazing the same spot for too long eventually destroy the ground. What was once green and nourishing becomes barren. So God steps in, not to punish you, but to prevent stagnation. The psalmist wrote, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." 2. The valley path is still God's path. When the shepherd leads the sheep to higher ground, they do not climb instantly. They pass through valleys, narrow routes, and shadowed places. The sheep often think the shepherd is taking them the wrong way. But what looks like a setback is usually the only safe route upwards. This is why David confidently said, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Psalm 23 verse 4. The valley is not your home. It's simply the pathway to the high pasture. Your tears, confusion, or delays do not mean you're lost. They mean you're transitioning. What you call trouble might actually be the shepherd carving out a safer route for you. 3. You're not being punished, you're being promoted. In the natural, sheep do not understand why their shepherd pushes them upward. They cannot see the fresh grass waiting. They only feel the steepness of the climb, the rocks under their feet, the heat of the sun, the fatigue in their legs. Likewise, when God is moving you upward spiritually, it rarely feels like promotion. It often feels like pressure. But pressure is the birthplace of growth. Paul explained this so beautifully. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17. Affliction works for you, not against you. You are not being crushed. You are being conditioned. You are not being demoted. You are being elevated. Right now, heaven knows something you do not see yet. Higher pasture requires stronger legs. And so God trains you through trials, not to break your faith but to strengthen it for where you're about to stand. For God's leading often looks like losing. When the Israelites left Egypt, they thought freedom meant ease. But the wilderness felt harder than slavery. Why? Because God was changing their pasture, moving them from the land of bondage to the land of promise. But before he brought them to Canaan, he changed their environment, their diet, and their habits. Many times, God removes what you're used to so he can give you what you actually need. Sometimes, a relationship ends not because you failed, but because the next season requires a different circle. A job dries up not because God forgot you, but because your assignment there is done. Opportunities close because God is shifting your calling. Behold, I will do a new thing. Isaiah 43 verse 19. New things require new places. New places require new pastures. New pastures require movement. And movement requires trust. 5. The shepherd walks ahead of you. Perhaps the most comforting truth is this: you are not navigating this climb alone. You are not wandering. You are not abandoned on the hillside trying to guess God's will. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice, and I lead them." John 10 verse 27. The shepherd never drives sheep from behind. He leads them from in front. This means he goes ahead of you into every decision. He steps into tomorrow before you arrive. He knows the dangers you cannot see. He already prepared the next pasture long before you started climbing. What looks confusing now will one day make perfect sense. The shepherd's footsteps are in front of you, even if you cannot see them yet. 6. The upper pasture always reveals the purpose. Eventually the sheep reach the higher ground. The air is cooler, the water is fresher, and the grass is abundant. Suddenly the climb makes sense. Suddenly the pain has perspective. And so it will be for you. Jesus told Peter, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will understand later." John 13 verse 7. Your later is coming. Your understanding is coming. The upper pasture is ahead. When your season changes. When joy returns. When clarity breaks through. When peace settles again. You will look back and say, "He was not punishing me. He was preparing me. The great shepherd was changing my pasture." Final encouragement. Dear friend, you may not understand what God is doing in this season, but you can trust who He is. His character has not changed. His love has not faded. His plans have not been altered. If the road feels uphill, dusty, lonely, or confusing, take heart. It means you're being led, not lost. The climb is only the transition. The pasture is ahead. And the shepherd is with you. There are no gains without pain, but there is no pain without purpose.